The podcast you're about to hear involves true stories, which may contain graphic content that is not suitable for children. Listener's discretion is advised. This is Esoteric Oddities.
Hello. Welcome back.
Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed our little game show last week.
This is the first time we've sat in this seat
basement
for
with these
quite
weird
some time.
marionette dolls that move.
Oh yeah. If you guys missed it, on our Instagram story, I showed for the first time the marionettes that we podcast with, and I got some mixed reviews, and I was told multiple times to sage the basement. Already been done. Got my sage. Got my
you
Florida
sure?
water. Yes. Whew.
Florida water. It's so funny you said that because you see, Solange brought Florida water to the Met Gala.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably to cleanse all these dusty bitches.
Fake hoes.
I'm saying.
So I know that this is going to be like old news by the time this comes out because it happened maybe 2 days ago and it's already old news. But the whole Laurel and Yanni thing.
I'm sick of it. I
sick
hear
of
Yanni and I can't unhear it.
Sarah and I discussed this, and you heard Yanni the first time, and I was like, you're crazy. It's Laurel. And then we listened to it again together, and it switched for both of us. I'm 100% sure everybody listening has already heard it, so you can just go ahead and skip 15 seconds ahead. But for those of you who don't know, there was a clip going around on the Twitter, and it was do you hear Yanni or do you hear Laurel? And it's the same clip, and apparently it was somewhat split down the middle. I think it was 58% heard Laurel, and then the rest, whatever that math is, heard Yanni. So I'm gonna play that 3-second clip for you now.
Laurel.
Yanni.
Laurel.
So you hear Yanni.
Yanni.
That's what you hear.
Yeah.
You hear Yanni.
What do you hear?
I hear Laurel.
How?
Okay, I'm gonna play it again.
Okay.
Laurel.
I hear Yanni.
Laurel.
That it blows my mind that you hear.
I don't hear Laurel ever. Someone did a thing and they wrote Yanni and Laurel in one word, and they were like, "What does this say?"
That's so funny. But then some dude sped it up and then slowed it down, so you're supposed to be able to hear what the other people hear. Hold on, let me see if I can do it. Okay, so this is
Do you hear what I hear?
this is slowed. This is slowed down 30%.
Yanni.
I still hear Yanni.
Yanni.
So with that, I hear Yanni. Yanni. Get out of here with your Yanni grams. All right, and this is slowed down 20%.
Yanni.
I hear Yanni.
Yanni.
I agree. I hear it on that one too. So then this is sped up 30%.
Laurel. Laurel.
I still hear Yanni.
I hear Laurel. Get out of here.
I think I hear Laurel on 40%.
Okay, so let's get to 40%.
40%.
Laurel. Laurel.
Never mind. I hear Yanni.
You still?
Yeah.
That blows my...
Yanni is haunting me.
So
come get me, please. I'm Rhett.
You're wrong. It's Laurel.
No, I'm not. You're wrong.
Bad
You're
bitch.
wrong.
Okay, so everybody's already over it. It still blows my mind. Is the dress white and gold, or is it black and blue?
It was white and gold.
It was white and gold.
But if I tip my phone, it was black and blue. Also, black and blue don't match, so don't even try it. So I'm going to tell y'all about my trip to Denver.
That's in Colorado.
So, I got really stoned. It's legal there, so prosecutors step back. But I want to give a little review on this establishment that me and my friend tried out. If y'all think that I'm knocking them, I sure am.
Ooh.
Anyway.
I don't know if we should name the company.
Ooh. Why? I'm trying to save people.
I'm just not trying to get sued. I know from doing YouTube videos where I talk shit on people.
All right, so this company, it rhymes with Euro.
All right, I like it.
So it's like an Airbnb for cars. Y'all can just Google all this information and you'll find it.
You mean it's like you can just rent a car?
It's like an Airbnb for cars. It's like someone else's car that you're renting.
Oh.
It's weird.
That is weird.
Anyway, so it's super cheap, super convenient. It wasn't really for us because it was actually 30 minutes away from where we were staying, but that's besides the point. So basically we had this car for 4 days. The first 2 days were fine. The second day, we went to Garden of the Gods, which is like an hour drive from Denver.
She went with our friend Kiko, not me. So it's her and one other person, Kiko.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know.
That's okay. I'm here to preface. When the details fall through the cracks, I'll catch them. That's my catchphrase. When it's in the crack, I got your back.
Jonathan got your back. So we got
There's a cat hair in my coffee.
Nail. Amazing. Eat it. So we got a nail in the tire, and the tire went flat. So we didn't realize till the next day. So, we called roadside assistance. They changed the tire to a donut, whatever. So the guy from Euro said, you guys should go to a Discount Tires and see if they could patch up the hole. So we went there. The guy at Discount Tires says that he can't patch up the hole, and then he says that the tires are worn. The two back tires are worn. So me and my friend go back to this Euro guy and we're like, these tires are worn anyway, so we don't think we should have to replace the tire.
Quick question. Were you talking to the dude who's actually owns the car?
Yes.
Okay.
So he's like, Discount Tires always tries to say that the tires are bad, and he just starts throwing numbers at us, whatever the fuck. So we wait to get billed, and we're billed $191 for not one, but 2 tires.
Did you tell the guy to do the tire in the back?
We didn't have a choice but to replace the tire.
Why?
I don't know.
No, the tire dude definitely pressured you into that too, because
it wasn't the tire dude, it's the Euro dude.
What did he do? He called it in, or did he?
He made the
So you and Kiko
claim.
Wait, did you and Kiko go to the tire place?
Yeah, just to see if we could get the tire patched up. And the guy at the tire place was like, these tires are worn. You guys shouldn't have to pay to replace it.
Okay, so when the tires got changed, though, who was there for that?
It was the Euro guy.
Oh, shit. So he got his tires, which were worn the fuck out.
And replaced them and charged
on
us
your
for it.
money.
I'm saying.
His that you could not have possibly worn out in the 4 days you fucking had it.
I'm saying.
So now you're paying
for his tires.
For his new tires. So he can go off and drive
right into the sunset of Colorado.
Okay.
So don't ever use that place. Customer service.
Well, it was just that one person though.
Yeah,
so
but if
might
you
not
read
be the
reviews online, they're like not good.
Well, you got to think about how sketchy that is. What happens if somebody's like brakes are out? What happens if somebody has a tracking device in there?
I am saying.
I guess the same kind of goes for Airbnb. If somebody really wants to sneak in while you're sleeping.
We also stayed at an Airbnb. Shout out to all my new friends if you're listening. That was really cool. It was like a shared one.
Oh, it's like a hostel. So I texted Sarah and she's like, I love everyone. They're giving me free drugs. And I was like, don't take them, girl. Do you not?
Yes, he was like, so him and my girlfriend were literally on my ass this whole trip.
Not
like,
listen to our own podcast?
I know. And here I am like, just give me weed.
Are you freaking stupid?
You frickin' frick. So yeah, that was, aside from that, I had a really good time.
That's good. I'm glad you just got litty lit.
The time change really fucked me up.
It's not that much. What is it, 3 hours?
2, but when it was like 10 here, it was like 8 there.
Yeah. You wake up really early in the morning.
Me?
Yeah.
Ew, no, I don't.
Yes, you freaking do.
I wake up at 5:30.
That's
for work.
So early.
For work, not voluntarily. Like,
yeah, but you get out of bed. I would be like, sorry, I got to get a new job. Like, I don't have time.
I literally, it takes me a while. And I've been late. I've literally used the Lyft every day this week to work because I was almost late.
Better just be a Lyft.
Ew.
You were so late, you left the tea at home. So today's episode comes suggested by Shane on Patreon. So thank you, Shane, for your suggestion. He suggested that we did like uses of alchemy and experiments and stuff before modern science. You know, my mind was kind of going more towards the mad scientist way. Yeah, that's like the same suggestion, right? Perfect.
I mean, yeah, just put our own little twist on it. Oh, and also, I broke out in hives in Denver because
Oh,
of
yeah,
the
that was
altitude.
cute.
That was really nasty. But I'm all better.
Does that happen to people
Yeah.
because of the altitude?
Well, it's just like, that's what it said. Because I found an article, and it was like, why is your skin freaking out in Colorado?
Oh, it could have been the crazy drugs that whoever was living in your hostel gave you.
Shut up.
I won't.
I won't. I will never.
So how many stories do you have?
I have one, but it's 6 pages.
Okay, let's do every other because I have 2.
How are we going to do every other when I have one story?
We fucking sandwich it. You're the cream filling in between my Oreo.
Ooh, creamy.
So
Hit me with the cream.
ew. So my first guy is Jose Delgado. So Jose Manuel Rodriguez Delgado was born in Spain in 1915. His father was an eye doctor, and he planned to follow in his father's footsteps. However, once he discovered the writings of Santiago Ramon, he no longer wanted to be an eye doctor like his father. He became captivated by, quote, the many mysteries of the brain. How little was known then, how little is known now. Which is honestly kind of crazy because we really we don't know shit about the brain, which is in between our ears.
We just have them, right?
Yeah, and then we don't know shit about the ocean, which we don't want to get into because I will have nightmares.
Do you ever think about the heart, how it literally pumps your
All the
whole
time.
entire life?
Isn't it tired?
Yeah, I'm saying.
Yeah.
It makes me really nervous.
I know. Every morning I wake up, I'm like, ooh, hang in there, buddy.
Same. We're just
One step-
strapping on.
One step closer to logging off.
Basically.
So Delgado was fascinated by experiments by Swiss psychologist Walter Rudolf Hess. So beginning in the 1920s, Hess had demonstrated that he could elicit behavioral responses such as rage, hunger, and sleepiness in cats by electrically stimulating specific regions of their brains with wires. Those poor kitties. They're like, we're fucking hungry. Get your goddamn wire out of my ear.
I'm saying.
So Delgado, he formally became a medical student around the outbreak of the Spanish Civil War in 1936, which was led by General Franco and supported by Nazi Germany and Italy. As the fascists gained control, Delgado dropped out of his studies to join the Republican side as a medical corpsman. After the fascist victory in 1939, he spent 5 months in a concentration camp before returning to medical school to complete his MD in 1940. So then he began to work immediately as an instructor in psychology. In 1942, he obtained his Doctor of Science. So after earning an MD and doctorate in psychology from the University of Madrid, Delgado joined its psychology laboratory where he carried out brain stimulation experiments on cats, dogs, and primates. Those are monkeys. Those are monkeys. Well, I guess not all monkeys, right? Orangutans, apes. Are they in the monkey family?
Yeah.
Oh, they're in the primate family.
What else is there?
Well, that's kind of like saying like a square is a rectangle, but not all rectangles are squares. Yeah.
What else is there?
No. Wait, did I say that right?
Not all rectangles are square.
This is Esoteric Oddities, guys.
Thanks for listening. We've officially lost our damn minds. If you want to follow us, follow the journey of us losing our mind. Follow us on Instagram.
Thank you. So, in an experiment on a kitten, when the cat's brain was stimulated with electricity, its paw moved. So this proved that humans had the power and technology to change the electrical workings in a living brain.
No, not the kitty.
Oh, don't worry, because he's done with the cats. And he's on to the humans. So his main goal was to be able to repair damaged minds of the mentally ill, specifically those with schizophrenia and epilepsy, and he wanted to replace the need for lobotomies because, lobotomies, they were becoming like a fun little fact. I think I told this on this podcast. I may not have. I got a little too drunk.
No such thing.
I woke up the next morning and your boy was scheduling a lobotomy appointment
I really hate you.
underground with some random. I think I was trying to investigate it and I wanted to see how, because that's something I would do is not actually go through with it. Obviously, I don't want somebody sticking
you
an
would go
ice
there
pick.
alone and die.
Yeah, they stick an ice pick in your eye and like hit it with a hammer and scramble your brains. And I think I was just going to see how close I could get to making an appointment. Well, they have like the dark web and the deep web where like people
you
do
ever
that
been there?
shit. No, are you kidding me? I'm so terrified of that. I don't know what
get there.
You have to get like an app. It's something about an onion. I only know that because like it has layers, like Shrek. But if you're really curious about the deep web, well, there's the deep web and the dark web. I should know the difference, but I don't because it kind of scares the shit out
The
of me.
dark web like sells drugs.
I thought that was the deep web too.
Isn't it like a marketplace?
I don't know.
And I
Yeah,
think
it's
they
like
sell mail
oh,
order brides.
Silk Road was the name of it. You guys don't look this shit up. I shouldn't even be saying it. Don't. That's your work computer, you crazy ass. But they like sell people's organs and shit.
Stop.
And like we should do a whole episode on that shit.
I'm
Ooh,
saying.
maybe we will.
Next week.
But if you guys like wanted, if you're really curious about what goes on the dark side of the internet, go on YouTube. There's this guy. He has like over 100 episodes of him just like screen recording him going on random websites on the dark web. And there's some crazy fucked up shit on there. But anyway, back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity on the dark road. And here we go, Silk City.
Wow, that was good.
Thanks. I'll be here.
For the rest of my life.
I'll always be there for you.
Oh, that was the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Shut the fuck up. So
I rest my case.
he wanted to replace the needs for lobotomies. So he believed that the mentally ill, their illnesses were caused by electrical mishaps within the brain and that they are fixable. So basically he wanted to fix people was what he started out doing this. That's his goal. So he wanted to basically send an electrical jolt to a patient's brain and kind of reboot their system. Like it wouldn't erase your memory or anything. Like I don't know how he figured that out. Oh, because there's different parts of the brain. Look, I went to school.
Wow, sips coffee.
Sips coffee. I studied this for like 3 days and I'm like, oh, the Cerra Bellum?
That's me. I know what that is.
What if your last name was Bellum?
Cerra Bellum.
Love it. So Delgado does his research and planning for years and years after this idea sprouts that he can use this on humans. So he finally gets a colleague from Yale. Oh, by the way, yeah, now he's teaching at Yale. Yeah. He in his bitch. He in the US of A. Is Yale in the US?
A.
Yale's in the US, right?
Yes, isn't it in Boston, Massachusetts?
It's in Connecticut.
I was close.
I'll give you $10 if you can spell Connecticut.
Okay. C
Off to a good start.
O N N E T
Nope.
I.
Bye.
I.
No.
C E
No.
I T.
It's Connect I Cut. Silly bitch. So back to the story.
Silly bitch, strict stuff for kids. Try me again. You'll
This
get this
is-
AK real quick. I sound like Lil Tay.
No, you don't. This is what happens when we like don't do this for
No,
a
this
month.
is what happens when we're tired.
That's true. So, okay. So he's at Yale and he gets one of his colleagues to volunteer as an experiment subject. So the guy is wired to a big machine and Delgado tells him to hold his hand out with his palm up. So he does. And then Delgado flips a switch and the man's hand closes. He asks the man to keep his hand open, to which the man responds, quote, I guess your electricity is stronger than my will, end quote. Fucking horrifying quote, if you ask me. Isn't that kind of terrifying? I guess
why would you say that?
because it's true. And then it's just like, okay, well, now you have the power over my will. So the experiment was a success to an extent. The man continued to live without any brain injuries or abnormalities. So now Delgado proved that he can control another human being physically using mind control. So next, he attempted an experiment on a bull.
How do you go
That's what I'm saying. He's like, I'm going to go from kittens.
to humans to bulls? Like what? Where's the spectrum here?
So the reason that, okay, now what he's trying to do, he proved that he can do physically, right? So on the cat, he was like, all right, I can move the cat's paw. So then he moved on to people and he's like, okay, I can move this person's hand. Well, now he has control over them of how they move and shit without the people being able to do that. Well, what else is there besides physically, emotionally, and mentally? So now he wants to alter the thoughts.
Yikes.
So
sir.
for him to do that, he's going to go back to the animals before he's going on humans. It just makes sense. But why he would go straight to a bull, who knows? So he attempted an experiment on a bull. So the owner of the bull laughed at him and told Delgado that his experiments would work on cats and monkeys, but surely would not work on a bull, and that this man was crazy. So the man then allowed Delgado to place a small chip or whatever the fuck it was into the bull's brain. The day comes, the big day that we've been planning for, and the crowds gather as Delgado stands in a bull arena alone as a massive bull charges at him, and with the flip of a switch, the bull turns around calmly.
Well,
You can see this clip on YouTube.
look it up.
Yeah, if you look up Jose Delgado bull experiment, they actually documented him. Like, he's never done anything with bulls before, so he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. But they have like a switch, and the bull's like charging, and he flips the switch, and the bull legitimately like stops immediately and just like walks away.
So what in the switch makes it like?
He sent not a shock, well, a shock of energy, but it wasn't like a shock collar.
Right.
You know how like with dogs and shit, like it'll stop them from doing it because it hurts
It
them.
hurts them, so they don't go past that.
He was changing the emotions of rage.
Yikes.
Because remember the dude that he used to read about when he was a kid?
Mm-hmm.
He could make cats like hungry and like sleepy and shit, which honestly, did he? Or is that just like the mood swing of a cat?
Right. I'm saying my cat sleeps all day.
So he's just trying to like see if he can like change the brain. In 1955 at Yale, he works on mentally ill patients. So there's a young woman who is a violent schizophrenic, and one of the first to test out his new invention, the Stimosever. It is a radio receiver attached to electrodes in the brain, which is operated by a radio transmitter in a remote control. So he asks the woman to play acoustic guitar. So she starts playing, strumming away, Teardrops on My Guitar by Taylor Swift.
Love it.
2006. He flips a switch and she immediately like goes into rage. So she starts screaming and smashing the guitar, and it's not because like it hurt. It wasn't like a shock collar thing. It was just like emotions in the brain.
Their emotions.
Yeah. So he flips the switch again and she's calm. So now he had emotional mind control without the use of wires. So through several experiments, he was able to control emotions, even controlling a woman's sexual and affectionate feelings towards a man that she did not find herself previously attracted to.
Yikes. Abort.
On many other mental patients, he was able to produce instant fear, calmness, and euphoria. So yeah, that shit's kind of crazy. He learned how to like do mind control. And then there was a whole bunch of drama because, you know, with power like that,
It's problematic.
Like, it's problematic. I mean, from what he's saying, he went into it. I mean, it was like he wanted to help heal people, but I think he was, but you never know. First off, you never know what goes on behind closed doors.
Because I feel like people get so power hungry, and that's what really like overthrows everything.
And adding on to that, like adding on to that, what happens if he forgets to lock up the door in the office at night and someone sneaks on in and just grabs his shit and then like mind controls all these bitches? Right. I tell him to download my mixtape, donate to my PayPal, link in the crotch box.
Cash at me.
You know what that Venmo is, though. Oh, also, because of the whole fascist movement and stuff, like, there was that whole thing where people were like, oh, you're a fascist and you're trying to mind control and you're in the United States and you're in Yale and you're going to start mind controlling all of the graduates who are marching out and getting great jobs and are in control of all these other people.
Oh, my God.
It's kind of scary shit if you think
like
about it.
That's like a whole colony.
Because this was 1955. He had and this is like besides MK Ultra. And this was only the stuff that's like documented that he did. I'm not saying he's a bad person because I don't know, but like,
but it's doable.
When MK Ultra, which actually was happening with mind control of people, mental patients especially, like, you don't know what the fuck goes on, especially like, you know, think about how many powerful people come out of Yale. That's terrifying to think of. Like, here, conspiracy theory, get your tinfoil hat.
For real though. Ew.
Well, I mean, think about it. It's plausible. It's not as outlandish as it sounds. So modern scientists, you know, seldom mentioned his work in later studies.
So are people still doing this thing?
Probably behind closed doors. I mean, they have electric shock therapy, and there are places that you can get, like, I forget what it's called, but Stevie Ryan, rest in peace, she used, I forget what it was called, but when I followed her on Snapchat, she posted, it was like a giant magnet thing that they hold like up to your head, and it's supposed to like electrically. I sound like a fucking idiot.
Oh yeah, because electrocution helps people forget trauma, so that's why a lot of people use.
I don't think that's what it was. I don't think it was. I think she was just using it because it's like they have a therapist. We sound fucking stupid, okay? Hold the emails, okay? I'm not a goddamn professional. I'm just trying to entertain y'all. Twiddle your
thumbs.
butts.
Well, sure.
So yeah, that is Jose Delgado and the Crazy Bull Experiment. I highly recommend you guys go watch it.
Del got everybody.
Ooh, girl, you better get out of here.
Yeet.
But go look him up on YouTube. The video is like maybe a minute and 30 seconds long, but it's kind of fucking crazy. So would you let me mind control you?
Def not, because you'd make me do things that like were really embarrassing.
I would. You don't even get embarrassed. Except for that time you fell down the subway stairs in front of that man.
Because I saw a cute boy.
All right.
Like, where does my head be at? So...
Where does my head be at? Same. I think you answered your own question right there.
I sure did. That was embarrassing. See? Look at that. Embarrassment.
I did it. My experiment's working already.
Fuck you. Okay, so Philip Zimbardo, this was in 1973. He was interested in finding out whether the brutality reported among guards in American prisons was due to sadistic personalities of the guards, and he called this dispositional, or was it more to do with the prison environment? For example, prisoner and guards may have personalities which make conflict inevitable, which is like, you know, they do something wrong, the guard has to discipline them. Right. That's like,
don't fucking do anything wrong then.
That's normal. With prisoners lacking respect for the law and order of the guards, prisoners and guards may behave in a hostile manner due to the power structure of the social environment in prisons.
Naturally.
So if prisoners and guards behaved in a non-aggressive manner, it would support the dispositional. Right.
I think it also, I mean, you're probably going to get to it, but I think it also definitely depends on like who like what type of prison it is.
Right. Like that's situational.
Oh, look at you.
So it's like he's trying to figure out like what makes the guards basically like sadistic, but I do think it's a lot to do with like them having power.
Well, they have power, but you're also like in a place where the people who, you know, a lot of the people, not all of the people, but a lot of the people did really shitty things to get themselves where they are.
Right.
So it's just like, I mean, nobody really has your back.
Mm-hmm.
That it's like a whole different world in there.
Right. It's like you're basically fending for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, how are the prisoners supposed to act? Like they're probably always on guard. They're like always on their toes because they're like, I don't know who knows me in here, you know?
Maybe when they first get in there. It depends. It's situational. Because watching like Orange is the New Black, because I mean, I don't fucking know. I'm never going to be a woman in prison ever in my entire life. So I don't know the validity of it. Mm-hmm. I'm probably not going to be a guard, so I can't see it firsthand. And even if I did see it firsthand, I would be seeing it from a guard's perspective. Mm-hmm. So that shit is skewed as fuck. But I mean, I think it's like a whole different world in there that you got to fend for yourself and keep your shanks out of your spanks.
Well, Zimbardo took a basement of the Stanford University psychology building, and he made like a mock prison, and then did like an advertisement for volunteers to participate in a study of the psychological effects of prison.
Fuck, who the fuck was it? I was just listening to a podcast and they talked about this.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know all the details of it, but they talked about it briefly as if they had probably spoken about it before.
Oh, right.
Who was that?
So more than 70 people applied, and they were given a diagnostic interview and personality tests so they could eliminate candidates with like mental health issues and medical disabilities.
So I get the medical thing, but why the mental thing, I wonder?
Because I feel like they wanted people who like, so the whole study is like they want to know if basically they could break these normal people.
Oh.
with prison. If they could just like crack them mentally.
Okay, so they weren't okay. Because my thing was gonna be that you have prisoners that are mentally unstable. But I get where the experiment is coming from.
Right.
Okay. Do we have like an official thing what the flyer said or what their statement was?
No, I wish.
Okay.
I could find it though, maybe.
I'll look it up while you're talking.
They also didn't want people with.
Wait, where was this? Stanford?
Yeah, university. They didn't want people with history of crime or drug abuse. So it was 24 college students out of 75, and they were paid $15 per day to do this experiment, which is not that much. They were randomly assigned to a role of a prisoner and a guard. And there were 2 reserves, and 1 dropped out, and then there was 10 prisoners and 11 guards. The guards worked in set of 3s, and the prisoners were housed 3 to a room. There was a solitary confinement cell for people who misbehaved. So it was like a real, like, they wanted to make it as, like, real as possible. So they were treated like every other criminal. They were arrested at their own homes without warning and taken to a local police station. They were fingerprinted, photographed, and booked. They were blindfolded, driven to the psychological department of Stanford University, where Zimbardo had the basement set as a prison. It had barred doors, barred windows, bare walls, small cells, all that. Which is crazy. They really, like, turned that whole thing
Well,
around.
you have to.
Right. When the prisoners arrived, they were stripped naked and basically taken everything. So personal items were taken, everything
Straight up, like
straight
prison.
up, literally like the whole 9. They were issued uniforms, and they were now referred to as ID numbers instead of names.
How long was this supposed to go on for?
It says it underneath.
Okay.
So the ID numbers were a way to make the prisoners feel anonymous. So they had to be called by their ID numbers, and they can only refer to themselves as their numbers. And obviously their uniforms had their numbers on it as well. The guards were dressed in identical uniforms of khakis. They carried a whistle around their neck. And the police clubs, they also wore special sunglasses so they couldn't make eye contact with the prisoners. 3 guards worked shifts to 8 hours each, and then they would switch. They were instructed to do whatever they thought was necessary to maintain law and order in the prison. Literally, these are like random people.
But were they student? I'm sorry.
They were students, yeah.
Okay.
They were college students.
Okay.
But
and
still random people.
They're random people, but they were random people who could get into Stanford.
Right, that's true. He observed their behavior of the prisons and the guards as a researcher, and also acted as a prison warden. Within hours of beginning the experiment, some guards began to harass prisoners. At 2:30 a.m., prisoners were awakened from sleep by whistles for the first of many counts. The count served as a way to familiarize the prisons with their numbers. More importantly, they provided a regular occasion for the guards to exercise control over the prisoners. The prisoners soon adopted the behavior of a prisoner. They talked about prison issues a great deal of the time. They told tales to the guards. They started taking the prison rules very seriously. The prisoners were taunted with insults and petty orders. They were given pointless and boring tasks to accomplish. They were generally dehumanized, basically.
This doesn't sound like a very healthy experiment.
I know. That's why I picked this one, because I thought it had to be like, if it wasn't science, it had to be really
This is science.
good. I think it is too. Where was I? Some guards ordered them to do push-ups. Someone stepped on a prisoner's back while they did push-ups, or made prisoners sit on backs of fellow prisoners doing their push-ups. Because the first day passed without incident, the guards were surprised and totally unprepared for the rebellion which broke out the morning of the second day.
Oh, bitch. We're in it.
Right. Hello?
Day 2.
Day 1, they were fed up.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
During the second day of the experiment, the prisoners removed their Stocking caps ripped off their numbers and barricaded themselves inside a cell by putting their beds against the door. The guards called in reinforcement. The 3 guards who were waiting on standby duty came in, and the night shift guards voluntarily remained on duty. The guards started using fire extinguishers, like shooting them at the prisoners.
Y'all were in class 2 days ago.
I'm saying some broke into the cell, stripped the prisoners naked, and took the beds out. And then whoever led the rebellion was put into solitary confinement and harassed.
All right, day 2.
So they had a privilege cell. The 3 prisoners least involved in the rebellion were given special privileges. The guards gave them back their uniforms and beds and allowed them to wash their hair and brush their teeth. Privileged prisoners also got to eat special food in the presence of other prisoners who had temporarily lost the privilege of eating.
Okay.
Over the next few days, the relationships between the guards and the prisoners changed. One leading with a change in one leading to a change in another. So basically, it was all retaliation. Let's say a prisoner would do something, then a guard would do something because the prisoner did something.
Right.
That's how it is. But it's crazy because the prisoners were dependent on the guards. It was basically they were holding basically their life in their hands because they could say what they can do, basically. So as the prisoners became more dependent on the guards became kind of more aggressive towards the prisoners because they knew that they had power.
Right.
They held prisoners in confinement and let prisoners know it. As the guards held them in confinement, the prisoners became more submissive. As the prisoners became more submissive, the guards became more aggressive and assertive. They demanded greater obedience from the prisoners. The prisoners were dependent on the guards for everything, so tried to find ways to please the guards, such as telling on other people.
I wonder what would happen if it was like animals.
Shreds. I imagine the thing from Mean Girls.
In the mall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When she was the watering hole.
Yeah.
That's what I imagine it being. So this is about prisoner 8612. Less than 36 hours into the experiment, prisoner 8612 began suffering from acute emotional disturbance. He had disorganized thinking, uncontrollable crying, and rage. After a meeting with the guards where they told him he was weak but offered him informant status, 8612 returned to the other prisoners and said, "You can't leave, you can't quit." And then soon he started to begin to act crazy and scream and curse and rage that seemed out of control. So he actually got let out because he couldn't handle it. And that was only 36 hours.
What the fuck are you supposed to do when y'all got school next fall?
Oh,
how are you gonna have class with these people?
The next day, the guards held a visiting hour for parents and friends.
Amazing.
They were worried that when the parents saw the state of the jail, they might insist on taking their sons home. Guards washed the prisoners, had them cleaned and polished their cells, fed them a big dinner, and played music on the intercom. So after this happened, rumor spread about an escape plan. So the guards were afraid they would lose prisoners. Zimbardo invited a Catholic priest who had been a prison chaplain to evaluate how realistic the prison situation was. Half of the prisoners introduced themselves by their number rather than their name. The chaplain interviewed each prisoner individually. The priest told them the only way they could get out was with help of a lawyer. Moving on. Eventually, while talking to the priest, prisoner 819 broke down and began to cry hysterically. The psychologist removed the chain from his foot, the cap off his head, and told him to go and rest in a room that was across from the prison yard. They told him that they would get him some food and then take him to see a doctor. While this was all happening, one of the guards lined up the other prisoners and had them chant aloud, "Prisoner 819 is a bad prisoner. Because of what prisoner 819 did, my cell is a mess, Mr. Correctional Officer."
Ooh, they are really going at it.
So they realized, the psychologist realized that 819 could hear the chanting and went back into the room where they found him sobbing uncontrollably.
He just wanted $15 a day.
The psychologist tried to get him to agree to leave the experiment, but he said he could not leave because the others had labeled him a bad prisoner. So Zimbardo comes in and he says, listen, you are 819. You are, enter his name here, and my name is Dr. Zimbardo. I'm a psychologist, not a prisoner superintendent, and this is not a real prison. This is just an experiment, and those are students, not prisoners. He stopped crying and looked up at him and said, okay, let's go, as if nothing was wrong. Originally, it was supposed to be for 14 days, but on the 6th day, it was terminated.
Well, he fucked these people up.
Basically, the Stanford doctor, she interviewed all these people and realized that they were being abused and said, it's terrible what you're doing to these boys.
Just the turtles, don't mind them.
Out of 50 or more outsiders who had seen the prison, she was the only one who ever questioned its mortality.
Why?
I really don't know. But this man fucked up these boys.
Yeah, for an experiment.
Zimbardo said, it wasn't until much later that I realized how far into my prison role I was at that point. I was thinking like a prison superintendent rather than a research psychologist. So even he
got fucking sucked into it.
Right.
So there's a movie. I want to see the movie. Now, I feel somewhat like I should have known a lot more details about this, and I didn't.
Like, you should have heard about it before?
Yeah.
I know, right? This would be something that I would like write a story about.
I heard about it, and I'm pretty sure it was My Favorite Murder, and they were talking about it, but I don't know. But someone was talking about it recently that I was listening to, and I was like, this sounds really interesting, and I never really heard the details before you just told them.
It just goes to show that it's really like mind over matter.
And also like how our brain is crazy.
Right. Like, you know that saying when people are like, if you smile for 5 minutes a day, you'll be happy?
First off, suck my dick.
Right. That's unrealistic, but like...
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of like this. Like, you trick your mind or you trick yourself into thinking that you're happy because you're smiling.
Interesting. Believe it until it's real. I'm a millionaire.
Right. Keep saying that.
I will. And I'll believe it too.
Then you could share some of your money.
And then when I get hit with that credit card bill, I'm gonna
be not a millionaire anymore.
Yeah. I want to watch that movie. It looks très interesting. But did that guy get in trouble? The man, the doctor?
I don't think so, because I think it was approved beforehand.
And they didn't know
Yeah, they didn't know how bad it was going to be.
I also would love...
Did you hear about... Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Did you hear about that documentary? I think it's called like Evil Genius or something.
Yeah, I just started watching it yesterday.
Oh my God, I want to watch it when I go home. That's crazy.
It happened here. Well, not here, but in Erie, Pennsylvania. It's like 6 hours away.
A bore. That's like, they literally just threw this guy in here and was like, you need to do this.
Well, I didn't watch the end, so I don't know.
Oh, well, I just know the story.
But did you watch it?
No, but I know the story.
Well, who told you the story? Because Whisper Down the Lane, bitch.
What's that?
Like Telephone, where like one person starts with like a thought and then tells the person who tells the person who tells the person. And
the person who told me said that it was basically about...
Well, don't fucking ruin it for me and or the listeners. You were about to do it without saying spoiler alert.
No, I was about to do it with saying, don't you need to know the story to want to watch the documentary?
Just go watch it. Not sponsored.
It would be like on Netflix. It would be like what the description would say on Netflix. Like, that's totally not ruining it.
You're ruining it. All right.
You ruined it.
My turn. So this is my last story, and this is it comes from a Scholar article from the Historical Neuroscience, and it was written in 2014 by Andre Parent in Cambridge. So, I mean, I took pretty much what he said and I kind of like dumbed it down Okay, so Saturday, December 4th, 1802, a woman leaves her mother's house in London with her child at 4 p.m. They are off to see her husband, 26-year-old George Forster. Some accounts say his name is George Foster, but I'm going to go with Forster because that's where I saw the majority of the places. So the woman and her child are never seen again.
Doo-doo.
So George had stayed with his friend Joseph Bradfield the night before, and the two had stayed together and then gone out at 10 a.m. that Sunday morning. So during this time, George had told Joseph that his wife and him were having issues and they were currently not on good terms because she wished to live with him. I guess that's something that George didn't want. So various witnesses later recounted that they saw George Forster with his wife and child in public houses near Paddington Canal, London, during that Sunday. The very next day, the body of his child was found in the canal. After the water was dragged for 3 days, his wife's body was also found. Both had drowned. When questioned about his alibi, George Forster claimed that after leaving the Meter, which was an alehouse, he set out for Barnet and in order to see his 2 grown children. So he had 2 other children by another woman, and they were older, and they were working in a workhouse there. But he was forced to turn back when he got to Whetstone because the sun started to set, and he was like, you know what, it's going to get too dark by the time I get there. I'm not going to be able to make it back. However, investigators noticed that this was contradicted by a waiter at the Meter who said he saw George leave the alehouse with the wife and child. All 3 of them were together. Then they figured out that within that time frame, he would not have possibly had the ability to walk all the way to Whetstone and back. So he went on trial and the jury found him guilty and sentenced him to be hanged for murdering his wife and child.
Yikes.
He then made a full confession. He said he had come to hate his wife, and twice before he had taken her to the canal to murder her, but his nerves got the best of him and he couldn't do it.
That escalated quickly.
He was publicly hanged on January 18th, 1803. But this story isn't about the murder of a young wife and child. This story isn't even about George Forster. It's about what happened to his body after he died.
Yikes. Lay me with the facts.
So let's rewind a little bit. Giovanni Aldini was born in Bologna on the 16th of April, 1762, in a family that cherished culture in general and science in particular. He had an older brother named Antonio, who was a famous lawyer, and he worked actively for the unity of Italy. His mother was the sister of famous Luigi Giovanni. That's a spicy spaghetti. He was an Italian physician. He was super famous in the late 1700s. This obviously had a big influence on Giovanni and his interest in science. So immediately after his graduation in physics from the university, on November 25th, 1782, Giovanni Aldini started to work as a research assistant in the laboratory that his uncle Luigi had set up at home. There he was joined by Luigi's wife, which was his aunt Lucia, and his cousin Camillo, who at the time was already well known in Italy for his work in the science field, this, that, and the other thing. Together, they formed a very small but active scientific group that used various electricity-producing machines in attempts to demonstrate the involvement of electrical fluid in muscle contractions in frogs. So their series of experiments led them to realize that the electric sparks could induce muscle contractions by triggering natural electricity within the nerves themselves. So, your brain sends an actual electric shock-ish signal, that tells the muscles what to do. Like this. I'm flipping you off because my brain is saying, fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, bitch. Look at this. Fuck, 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 fuck. Okay, so Uncle Luigi, as I used to call him, he proposed that the brain generates electricity that is distributed through the inner core of the nerves down to the muscles. That's pretty much what I just said. So this concept was the first of its kind and obviously had a major impact on several scientists in the 1800s. So Uncle Luigi is basically at the origin of a major scientific trend that led into development of modern electropsychology. Am I okay? It's 7:53 at night. I need to finish this coffee. So, several scientists of this period agreed that the nerve and muscles were made of highly excitable tissues. That's literally scientifically what they called it, highly excitable. Bitch, me too. Should have saw me at Disney World a couple weeks ago. I was highly excitable AF. So, in contrast, however, to what Uncle Luigi was saying, they did not believe that electricity played a role in their normal functioning. So, in these frog experiments, are you ready? Because this shit gets crazy. So,
I'm right.
in these frog experiments, they were hanging on a brass hook, and the muscle contraction. Okay, also, they didn't really get specific, but I looked this shit up, and if you're a vegetarian, I encourage you not to look it up because somebody fucking did it. And it was the way that they cut the frog in half, like its top half off, then they skin it. And how they skin it is literally someone took pliers from a fucking toolbox and just
ripped it off. I knew it.
It literally came off like pants. Like the skin, I was not ready for it. And I literally had to cover my mouth. I was gasping. Oh my God, I'm so dramatic. Ugh.
I'm sad, dramatic.
So the frog legs, they're skinned, and it's basically just exposed muscle and shit. So they're hanging on a brass hook, and the contractions in the muscles they found were most intense when the hook was deliberately pressed against an iron railing. So some people believed that Uncle Luigi, he had shown that electricity is a powerful stimulus for the nerves and muscles and shit.
We've learned that today.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And the concept, it was already being accepted at the time, and he did not prove, however, that the muscles contracted because of the electricity because of the electricity's interaction with the body. So then there was this major fight between a school of Bologna and some other bitches, and it literally went on until the 20th century. These people's grandchildren were still fighting over some fucking frog legs that their grandparents started the fight over, but that's besides the point. So we're back in 1797. Uncle Luigi died. R.I.P. Great guy, frog legs. Have a good time. But our guy, Giovanni Aldini, he was accepted into the university, Bologna University. Am I saying that right? Bologna?
Yeah.
You don't fucking know.
Yes, I do. It's in a song.
Oh, okay, perfect. Is it the Oscar Mayer song? Because, bitch, if you're talking about your baloney having a first name, I'm about to sock you.
It's,
You don't even have to. Oh. So this university, he became a chair in physics. He didn't actually turn into a chair, but he took the position of one.
It's so funny because how did you know I was thinking that?
I know you. So this is when he initiated a series of experiments on warm-blooded animals, including birds, lambs, calves, and oxen. In one of these experiments, Aldini applied direct electric current to different parts of an ox brain, which was still inside the head of the animal, to determine the relative sensitivity of different cerebral regions. So Aldini obtained positive effects from many of the brain regions, but the most vigorous motor responses happened after stimulation of the corpus callosinium cerebellum. Ladies and gentlemen, Cerra Bellum.
Thank you, everyone, for having me tonight. It's been a pleasure.
So, Aldini's extensive series of experiments on warm-blooded animals led him to consider the possibility of using electricity as therapeutic tools that he could start to apply, the electricity on human cadavers to, validate his novel application of galvanism. So just to clarify, galvanism was named after Uncle Luigi Galvani, and it is defined as the electricity produced in chemical action.
Wow, name an experiment after me so I know it's real.
You're already named after a Cerra Bellum, but it's defined as, electricity produced by chemical action. Fuck me now.
Deep.
So in January and February of 1802, in a large public area located near the university, where criminals had been sacrificed about an hour earlier. This is where the shit's going to take place. So Aldini was able to produce all sorts of muscular contractions by applying an electric arc at different points of the body. So basically, you know how if you want to, have you ever seen that thing where people take a battery and they light a piece of paper on fire with a battery, where you I forget how the fuck you do it. I should have done my research on it, but you take something, you put it on one end, you put the other on the other
right.
end. So basically, like
The batteries.
the electric arc he was creating is like with this big fucking John, and he put it at the bottom and then he put it at the top and all this shit. So use your goddamn imagination. If you can't grasp what I'm talking about, Google
You
it.
shouldn't be here.
It's the 90s. We have Google.
Hugo.
So blah 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 blah. So then he found out that using the body of cadavers, the results that happened with the frog legs had similar effects on humans, dead humans, but and it wasn't as intense as the frog legs because the frog legs were smaller.
Right.
So he noticed that the intense muscle reactions continued up to 3 hours after death.
Yikes.
So he could do it on dead people, but only within that 3 hour window. However, Aldini was somewhat disappointed to see what he considered to be the most important muscle. The heart did not respond. It's like you knew what I was going to talk about. So Giovanni Aldini, he then started to travel throughout Europe to convince the scientific community of the existence of animal electricity to demonstrate the usefulness of galvanism. Again, the technical word of what he was doing. So he wanted to pretty much be like, hey, this is what it can do. This is what it can do in the world of medicine. So
hire me.
he thought he could alter the brain's functions. Again, this is kind of what Jose Delgado was doing. He thought it could alter the brain's functions and help people who had epilepsy and who suffered from epileptic seizures, and also those who had been paralyzed. So he was like, we can control this. It's synapses in your brain that you can't control, but like now through electricity, I can like do some shit with that.
It's funny because both of your stories like are the same way. Like they want to help people, but then it just turns really bad.
Ooh, it's like I have a theme or something. So in the fall of 1802, Aldini goes before several groups of scientists.
Karma.
Eat my ass. Several groups of scientists in Paris who were shook. It says literally shook in this scholarly article. It doesn't. They were like shooketh to see the muscular contractions from Aldini's application on an old woman who had just died of putrid fever. I wonder what the fuck that smells like. Probably putrid.
Right.
So at the beginning of 1803, Giovanni went to England, where he lectured on galvanism in Oxford and London. And Aldini's most famous demonstration took place Monday, January 17th, 1803, the day good old George Forster was hanged for the murder of his wife and child. Now,
this is where it comes from.
yes, this is where it comes in. But there were conflicting dates on whether he was hanged the 17th or the 18th or the 19th, somewhere in January, y'all. So after hanging the usual time, George's body was cut down and it was brought to a house where Aldini waited with a bunch of other people. And he used 40 plates of zinc and 40 copper rods to transport the electricity to the body. When the rods were applied to George's mouth and ear, his jaw began to quiver and the adjoining muscles were horribly contorted and his left eye motherfucking opened. Can you imagine being there?
No. I would be like, all right, I'm done.
Gotta
This
go.
has been fun. It's been a great run, but I got to go.
So when one rod was moved to touch his rectum, the whole body convulsed and his entire dead body was reanimated. Bitch, I would too. Get that out my asshole.
Right. That one eye.
Yeah. So the body kicked the air, like both his legs started kicking. His arms started swinging. His hands made fists and started punching the air.
He was mad.
He arched his back, and he had a full body like convulsions. Like this dead man was
like a Caesar.
Yes, similar to it, but not. I don't know if he was flailing as well. Maybe. Who knows?
Right.
So one onlooker reportedly died of fright. Don't know if you can actually do that, but he might have had a heart attack.
Wait, yes, because haven't you ever heard of the term like, oh my god, you scared me to death? Like, people don't just say that. I feel like it's happened before, and that's when
I feel like
the saying was created.
It's happened before, but people didn't know about heart disease and shit back then. That man probably had a weak something or other.
Oh, you're right.
And wasn't ready for his Cerra Bellum
He wasn't ready
to be gone. So Aldini's demonstration was reported in great detail in the London newspaper and the Times on January 22nd, 1803, and made strong, enduring impressions in the mind of scientists and townspeople. No fucking shit. This man just took a dead-ass man and brought him well, at least his muscles back to life. So people later think this could have been a huge inspiration for Mary Shelley. Do you know who she was?
Yeah, it's Frankenstein.
Yeah, who was the author of Frankenstein. And she wrote it in 1818, which was 15 years after this experiment. I think she was 20 years old when she wrote Frankenstein, so she was 5 years old when this happened. And she was from the area, I think. I could totally be making that up.
Mary Shelley.
She didn't say that specifically this instance inspired her. However,
Yeah, because she'd have to give them credit.
but she did talk about galvanism, which was named after her uncle. So it had to, somewhere in there.
Link here.
Hello.
Now we're writing books.
And
We
it's-
were being scientists, and now we're writing books.
And
The
it's-
whole family got skills.
And wait, what? Mary Shelley wasn't in the family.
You said it was her uncle.
No, it was his uncle, Uncle Luigi.
Oh.
Silly bitch.
You said something about uncle.
I did. Because it was Giovanni's uncle.
Right.
Silly bitch. And it can't be like, oh, did you hear about that dead guy who came to life? And she couldn't be like, oh, no, never heard of that. Bitch, yes, you did. Everybody
wait,
heard about
never
that.
heard of
Everybody's
that.
been talking about that. So to find out what it was like firsthand to have a live person, Giovanni, listen to this. Giovanni applied galvanism to his own head. So he started doing this to himself while conscious. So he said in his own words, well, this isn't verbatim because I'm pretty positive he said this in Italian, but this is what he said. Linguini, pescado, meatballs, that's spicy
I
spaghetti.
hate you.
I'm just kidding. That's not what he
Spicy
said.
spaghetti.
So first he says, this is what he says, for real. First, the fluid took over a large part of my brain, which felt like a strong shock, a sort of jolt against the inner surface of my skull. The effect increased further as I... Hello?
You can do it.
As I moved the electric arcs from one ear to the other, I felt a strong head stroke and I became an insomniac for several days. So after this, Aldini was able to treat this guy. His name was Luigi. This is a different one, obviously, not his uncle. Luigi Lanzarini. He was a 27-year-old farmer who was suffering from melancholy madness, which now we would say he was just really depressed. So he had been committed to a mental hospital in Bologna. And so he did...
That escalated quickly.
No. He was already in there. So he was going to go do this brain experiment on him. I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear. So this man was already depressed.
In the mental... Okay.
Yeah, and he was put in the mental institution.
Got it.
Well, it wasn't an institution back then, but it was a mental hospital. So he goes in, he does his drawings, and then the patient's mood progressively improved so fast that he was apparently completely cured. And several weeks after the beginning of his treatment, Aldini hired that man, Lanzarini, as a domestic staff at his home for a few days to be certain everything was fine and he was behaving normally. Now, let me just rewind and say that one more time. So this man is depressed, Luigi. This isn't his uncle, different guy. This 27-year-old man is depressed, right? He was a farmer, depressed, in the mental hospital. Now, this man who can control people's, maybe not as much as like the dude later in the 1950s.
So it's faulty.
No. So he goes
How?
to the hospital, gets this dude, treats him, and then he's like, okay, so this dude, he's acting fine. He's acting great. Let me make sure he's fine. Let me bring him back to my house where he can work as a housekeeper.
It was all a ploy.
That's some get out shit if I ever heard it.
I'm saying, wait, so do you know what happens to these people after they go like through this thing with this man? Like, are they okay or?
Well, since
like, back
it
to
was so
normal?
long ago,
They
if
don't know.
people really weren't okay, I wouldn't be surprised if a couple dollars kept people hushed about it. Again, not saying that he was a bad man, but it's just when you have power and shit is like not, I don't want to say not natural because it's science and science is natural, but when you're taking something like a dead body that should be dead and laying there and you're making it move for 3 hours, I mean, I can't say.
Unnatural.
I can't.
Haven't you ever seen any of those like
Frankenstein.
TV shows?
Frankenstein.
Or yes, Frankenstein.
Fuck you.
I was referring to American Horror Story. The
Oh, yeah.
Coven one.
Yeah, that's a true story.
Oh shoot! They brought someone really back to life.
Yeah.
They really brought someone back to
Uh
life.
huh.
Don't lie to me.
I am lying to you right now. You're
I know you are.
gullible.
I'm not gullible. I said no, it wasn't real. I'm getting better. Move along.
So yeah, those were my mad scientists.
Woo!
Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think I would let nobody start experimenting with my brain.
No, I'd be like, I'm a pass.
I'm going to watch that movie, the one about your story, because I'm really curious because they didn't know what was going to happen. So to be honest, if I was one of those people who were smart enough to get into the university that I didn't even know was in the United States and we can't spell Connecticut, if I was smart enough to get into that back then, I would feel like I would probably take up that opportunity, not for the money, but because I'm curious.
Right, because of the experiment alone.
Yeah. Because I feel like that to me is different because you're not sending electric shock waves through my fucking brain.
No, it's literally
it's almost
a role play.
Much worse.
That's true. Because it's like you're in the real situation.
Yeah. That's interesting that mine were about like electrically fucking altering people's brains and yours was like chemically through emotions and actions. We did really good teamwork on that. We didn't even talk about it. Yes. So before we jump to our tweet of the week and fun fact, we just want to Sarah scurries. She's like, fuck, I forgot a goddamn tweet of the week. So again, we wanted to shank Shane.
I literally looked up tweet week.
Shank Shane. We want to thank Shane from Patreon and our new Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much.
Guys.
We are about to, right after this, record the bonus episode. So if you guys would like, first access to stuff and bonus episodes that are exclusively on Patreon, never to be released to the public, it's like a top secret. Go ahead on over to patreon.com/esoteric oddities. Thank you guys for the support. You're beautiful. And since Sarah doesn't have her shit together, I'm going to go ahead and
never do.
And tell you my fun fact, which isn't fun as much as it is kind of depressing, that it's physically impossible for pigs to look up into the sky. That just like a little piece of me is sad. I guess if they're laying on their sides, they can look up, right? They can look up into the sky.
Why wouldn't they be able to?
Because think about how their heads are. They can't really look up into the sky. I don't know. I read it on the internet, so it's true.
Yeah, everything on the internet is true.
Aspen is taking a plunge behind me. Okay, and then my tweet of the week, kind of bringing this full circle. Okay, so this is from Kevin Hart, not the real Kevin Hart. This is a different Kevin Hart. It's on Twitter at KevinHart0001. So it says, guy having sex says, oh yes, Laurel, give it to me. And then Laurel says, who the fuck is Yanni?
Wow.
Get it? Because he said Laurel's name, but Laurel heard it as Yanni.
Right.
Okay, well, I didn't know because I had to explain it and you didn't fucking laugh. Somebody out there laughed, so thank you for laughing.
Because it literally still confuses me. Like, even though I know what's going on, it's still so confusing.
Oh my God, it's like maybe if I shock your brain. Jesus.
What are they doing?
They're jumping off the diving board over there. You want to call forfeit and you can hit us with 2 next week? Yeah.
Let's forfeit on all of it.
Okay. Because we got limited time.
Right, I'm saying it.
Okay, so fail. Thank you guys so much for listening and thanks for the support. And if you want to hear us say something, go ahead and email us your topics. We do have topics, but we want to know what you guys want to hear. Because we have a lot of people who like true crime. I personally love true crime. We have a lot of people who just like weird other shit.
I feel like people always ask what this podcast is about, and I'm always like, pick it. I don't know. It's about anything.
I was talking to my friend Carrie last night, and she thought that it was about aliens.
See? It's like whatever episode we do it on. People
we had
think
one
that's what
episode
about.
on aliens,
Right.
though, and it was way earlier. So if you want to hear more aliens, let us know. If you want to hear about haunted shit, let us know. I'm down to talk about all of it.
Anything.
I'm down to literally do a karaoke episode, but we can't because of copyright issues. So maybe we'll do a karaoke episode, but we'll change all the words. If that's something you'd like to hear,
We can
let it be
literally
known.
do it all. Like.
But until next time, thank you guys so much.
Thanks, y'all.